Are we live? Are we here? Well, we're not playing Final Fantasy. How is everyone? Yep. Yay, it's working. After yesterday, I was afraid of more issues, but thankfully, there are none. So we will sit here in silence until more people show up. No, we will not. That would be dumb. So today's video, the mic was sideways. Why are you... It does not like that. Let's see if we can... Adjust this cord. There we go. That's better. Alright, so this is another live question and answer session, which means y'all can ask whatever questions you want, and I will answer them, most likely. I do have a theme for every episode, just so I have something to talk about in case nobody cares, is around, has questions. And this time is Animazement, which I'm still emotional about. It was so much fun. Oh, man. Let me check this here. Alright, everything looks good, I think. Animazement is the hometown convention that happens in my city every year. I've been going the last 12 or 13 years. I think I only missed 1 year because of a family obligation, I think. But it was the first convention I ever went to. It was probably 7th grade? I was like 12 or 13. And went with a huge group of friends. We only got to go one day, and I was just hooked. I was in love. I love the atmospheric conventions, the spirit. Like, a good con feels like a very friendly, warm, and fun environment. Like, crazy stuff happens, and Animazement's always been a delight. Not only because it's so close to home. For me, it's literally 20 minutes away. But I just feel like the people there are very nice. I've had very good experiences there. So I've got a bunch of pictures I thought I'd show y'all, and merch, and then also answer questions. Let's see what we should start with. Where are my pictures? First, I'll show y'all some of the pictures I have from the Facebook group. Let's pull these up. Pull that there. Haha! So, I have not played this game yet, but those who have played it probably recognize the characters. I know that's 2B. There were a couple people dressed as these characters, but this was the best duo. I am amazed. I don't know how they walk around with those blindfolds on. They have to be partially see-through or something. But that was an amazing cosplay, and just very well done. Very good job. Let's see here. Oh, this guy was walking around dressed as Jesus. Usually there is one person dressed as Jesus every year. Starting about the time that we started getting religious protesters, we tended to get those the last 5 or 10 years or so, which is unfortunate, but most people are, pretty chill about it, and they kind of, take it as a chance to joke and don't take it we just realize they're really just there trying to be obnoxious, and we ignore them, and this guy was really great walking around the con and being hilarious and wearing his awesome hat. And then we have this character who's Kelty from Durarara, which is amazing because the character has a motorbike in the show, and she actually drove up on the bike. It was amazing. And funnily enough, the character is based on the Irish mythological creature, the Dullahan, which is awesome. She's basically a headless horseman, but modernized, which is really cool. I haven't finished that show, but I really liked her character. And this was something that just happened by chance. A lot of people at the convention realized that they were wearing the same shirt, which they all bought at Walmart. And so people started taking pictures of these guys wearing the same shirts. I think they ended up, 5 or 6. I saw a bunch as I was walking around. They started trying to do a photo shoot of all of the Kakashi shirt folks. It was hilarious. Oh, what a treat. Let's see about my personal photos. Here we go. I can scoot me over. And what is this? Nope, that is not. Let's close that. Oops. Here we go. Personal picture. And there we go. So this is from, what is it? My Hero Academia. I haven't caught up with it. I just love this guy's beard. Look at him rocking that beard. It's amazing. I love it. It's fantastic. Hello, Caitlin. Thank you for joining the stream. Let's see who else we got here. Let me zoom back out. Nope, not in. Don't want to see his beard that close. Give me my next button. There it is. Oh, and this person was Raiden from Full Metal Alchemist, Jesus. Metal Gear Rising? I mean, this guy's outfit was legit. What an awesome costume. I cannot believe the detail put into this. Like, look at that. That is legit. I love it. People are so creative. Okay, so this guy's dressed as Reaper. It's not really the best picture, but I took it because we were over here on this side, on the right, there was a Jenga game going on, and Reaper was standing up there on the second level, blowing down at the Jenga game, like, like trying to knock it over. It was really great. Jesus came at one point and prayed for the success of the Jenga game, and they did a really good job. They kept that thing up for ages. This was Squirtle Squad, which was amazing. If you ever watched the Pokemon Kids show, there was a bunch of Squirtles that ran around in like glasses and pulled pranks, and she was kind of like the human embodiment of the Squirtle Squad, and it was adorable. And this was Party Reaper, and some kind of, I think, Haku, I don't know. I really don't. I just love the Reaper and the party hat, which is pretty great, and that's from Overwatch. This guy was the best. This was Xehanort from Kingdom Hearts, which, for one, love that. And he just had the aura down perfectly, like the malevolence and the personality. Cosplay is successful if you can embody the character. You don't even have to look like them, but if you can have the motions and the physicality, you can really pull it off, and this guy had it. And the best part was, I asked for his picture, and I accidentally called him Xemnas. And he, like, in character, he was like, I'm gonna kill you. It was really fun. He was a great guy. And then we had a bunch of people from Hellsing this year, which made me very happy. There was this group of Sarases and Pip, and then there was, that's Yu Yu Hakusho group, which was also awesome. There was a lot of Yu Yu Hakusho this year, probably because I think the anniversary happened recently. Yeah, and here, these two were great. This guy was an Alucard with an actual stake in his chest, and the jacket had eyes, which was terrifying, and I loved it. And then that was the girly card from the prequel manga. Very cool. And that's just the outside of the building. You can't really see it very well. Can I? Oh, this is actually a video. Oh, that's my friend Brad. Okay, now you can kind of see it. So my city's called the City of Oaks because we have a lot of oak trees. We have a lot of trees in general. North Carolina is very forested, and it's very... A lot of people who come here from other parts of the country are like, wow, there are a lot of trees. And there are. And the side of the building has this really neat art piece of, like, metallic panels that reflect a tree shape. It's really cool. And that's the center where the convention is every year. Also the place I graduated high school, funny enough. Oh, this one was, this was Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, but they had a little plushy Al. It was super cute. I wanted one. It's adorable. Then we have Team Rocket. There's a lot of Team Rocket every year, and I don't know if it's the same guy, but there's always at least one that has this net. I love it. It's just so fun and so smart, and a great way to use all your plushes. This was the day we came in. It just opened, and it was still and silent. No one was there. Man, I miss it already. We have another con coming in like 2 months, and I'm already like wishing it was here already. So these folks are from the podcast The Adventure Zone, which is super cool. This is Merle, who's a beach dwarf, so he's in like shorts and Crocs. That was great. This whole thing was awesome. I really loved it. And then, of course, we have Papyrus from Undertale, and the part that got me was the plate of spaghetti. Just perfect and amazing. I think that's all my pictures. Alright, so let's do merch, because I spent too much money, like I always do. Oh, man. It was a good year for collecting stuff. I don't because I go to anime conventions, I go to all kinds of conventions, but typically what I collect is video games. It kind of crosses over in anime, because Japanese video games sort of premiere there as well, but you don't usually see a lot of it there. It's a lot more anime, and the more years pass, the more I find myself out of touch with modern anime, because I haven't been watching it. I'm like stuck in the 2000s, but I found a lot of cool stuff this year. I got a lot of cool games, some of which I've already posted on my Twitter. I got, let's see, da-da-da-da, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, which has been heavily requested. I had a lot of people after the vampire video tell me I should play this series. I own like 5 of them on PC, but my PC won't run this shit and stream it because it hates me. So now I have a physical copy that I can stream. It'll be awesome. I'm very excited about that. And I also got Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. It was a little overpriced, but I figured it's enough in my wheelhouse that it'll be good for YouTube, streaming, that kind of thing. I also got Valkyria Profile, too. I have Valkyria Profile Lenneth. I don't know if I think that's a remake of the first one. But I don't know how exactly they tie together. But I've always wanted to play them, and this one looked neat, and it was pretty cheap, comparatively speaking. So, I am pretty happy about that. And yay! I've had so many people ask me to do videos about Silent Hill Origins, and I kind of had to just shrug and be like, I don't own it, I never finished it. Well, now I have it, so I have no excuse, obviously. Gotta start making content for Silent Hill Origins. Other stuff I got, of course I went looking for Final Fantasy X stuff, and my favorite thing was this little keychain! Look at the Yuna! She's adorable! I need to find out what I follow the artist on Twitter, but I've forgotten the name offhand. They do a lot of Final Fantasy keychains. Last year I bought Titus. This year Yuna was new, so I was like, I gotta have it. It was really awesome. Hey, Suffixia. Am I saying your name right? Please let me know if I'm saying your name right. Oh, man. The other game I got, which I almost forgot. This was the last thing I bought because it maxed out my amount I was willing to spend at the con. I kind of had to cut myself off, but it was a great find. It is the collectible Final Fantasy X box from Japan. It's got the Ultimate Hits versions of 10 and 10-2 on PS2. And it also has the Another Story DVD, which I haven't watched yet because I need to go to my friend's house because he has a region unlocked DVD player. But I was super excited about this. It wasn't too expensive, but it was more than I had planned to spend at this event. So that cut me off. It was pretty awesome. I was so excited. At first, it was on this shelf in the back of the booth, and I had thought it said Final Fantasy 13, which, I'm not that big on the series. 10 is my favorite. I love 12. I never really got into 13. But my friend was like, nah, that says 10. I was like, oh my god! I have to get it! I got a couple of DVDs. Mostly weird esoteric stuff nobody's heard of, like Dark Side Blues, which is based off of a book that was written by the creator of Vampire Hunter D, Hideyuki Kikuchi. I am one step closer to owning all the weird shit that he made. What do I have? I have Demon City Shinjuku, and I have some of Yashikiden. I have the first 20 books of Vampire Hunter D. I have Dark Wars, and now I have Dark Side Blues. I'm very excited. Another thing I got that was really neat was this bad movie. It's called Amon Saga, and you might recognize the art if you've ever played Final Fantasy, because the art is done by, what's his name? Yoshitaka Amano. And that's apparently the only good thing. Like, he designed the characters, and everything else is apparently garbage, which is sad, but I just love the cover. It was like $5, so I was like, sure, I'll buy this shitty movie. Oh, well, thank you, Vinicius. Aw, that was very sweet of you. And thank you, everyone, for joining me. And remember, this is a question and answer session, so if you guys want to ask questions, feel free. I'm just going to jabber on about anime, as you do. The last thing I got was Pet Shop of Horrors, which is a manga I love to death. And I don't know that the anime is good or not. I've never watched it. It's only 4 episodes, but I figured it was like $15 and I loved the manga. It would at least be entertaining. Yeah. So that was my weekend. It was really fun. I love Animazement. Like I said, it was my first convention, and I have only missed 1 year since. There's going to be another convention soon called, GalaxyCon. It used to be SuperCon, but they changed it. And it's also going to be in my city. And I actually applied to do a panel there. So, I won't know for a while, but hopefully I'll be able to actually, like, be part of an event and advertise my channel and maybe do something cool. Like, I want to do something on the history of horror games. I think that would be a really fun presentation, and it's something I know a lot about, so that would be cool. I'm excited about that. Alright, let's see here. Hello, everyone. Syphixia. I can say that. Syphixia. Alright. Well, if nobody has any questions, I can dig into... Unifel. Oh, no. Let's see what I have in my treasure chest. So, I've been going to conventions for, almost 12 years now? I actually forgot. I have the book for this year. Animazement. I just really love the sort of community feeling. It's also why I love E3 for all its issues. I love the community feeling that it draws people together. And I started working at conventions in college, probably 5 or 6 years ago. I worked with a guy. Oh man, if you ever have heard of Anime Pavilion, don't shop there, don't work there, don't go there. If you if you Google it, you'll probably find a lot of other people saying the same thing I am, because the guy in charge has gotten into a lot of hot water for how he's treated his employees, which I was one, at 2 different conventions. It was the first time I ever worked a convention. I had a lot of fun, but I was also young, and it took a little while for me to realize the guy is a piece of crap. We were promised a hotel room if we traveled 15 hours from my city to New Orleans, and we showed up, and we didn't have one. And then finally he was like, okay, I have a hotel room. It was like midnight, and we were ready to go to bed, and we walk in, and it's his bedroom. His bedroom. And we were 2 20-year-old girls, and he was a 45-year-old man, and he wanted us to sleep in the same bedroom as him. That was his idea of employees get a hotel room paid for. So not only did we end up having to buy our own hotel room, he also cheaped us on price, because he said it was going to be $10 an hour. It turned out it was $10 merchandise credit and $8 per hour. So it was a horrible thing, and a lot of other people have even worse stories. So, like, do not work for them. Do not shop with them. It's really sad. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I was young. I really didn't know better, and knowing what I know now, I would never have... That was a bad situation. And a lot of people have had worse stories with him, like really creepy stories. But there's some petitions going around to get him banned from conventions, and this year their booth at Animazement was teeny tiny. So I'm hoping that's a sign that they're having problems, because they deserve it. Which is tragic, really, because his employees, the 2 women I worked with, were fine, but he was a piece of garbage. Of course. Ugh. Let's see what we got here. So, I don't remember what convention this was from. This had to have been last year. Maybe Animazement, or one of the Comic-Cons. But there was a person dressed as Kefka from Final Fantasy VI, which I've never finished playing, but I know the characters. And he was giving people roses. So I got a rose from Kefka. I also went to a convention in Virginia one year where a guy was dressed as Kylo Ren from Star Wars, but he was handing out these joke, like, cards, like greeting cards. It was based on a skit from SNL where they had this whole thing. I can't even explain it. There was an SNL skit about Kylo Ren, and he dressed as Kylo Ren and followed the skit basically at the convention. It was hilarious. Let's see what else we got here. I collect a lot of buttons. I have way too many buttons. Oh, it's the Karama. I used to keep them on my wall over there, but now all my Final Fantasy X stuff is there, so I gave up. It's all in a box now. This is my treasure chest. I keep a lot of, like, collectible merchandise boxes. I've had to limit myself I've started purging just to Final Fantasy, Silent Hill, which I don't have a lot of, some Pokemon, Kingdom Hearts, like very specific things I really like, because otherwise I would be inundated, just completely overwhelmed with crap. Let's see what else we got here. I think I got this at Animazement 2 or 3 years ago. It's a Pikachu with a ketchup bottle, which, if you've watched this show, Pikachu loves ketchup. Loves ketchup. I really should keep better track of what artists I get stuff from so I can find them again in the past. This year I actually went and followed them all on Twitter, which was great, but I haven't done that in the past because I was dumb, and now I don't know, like, I got these really awesome buttons from an artist 2 or 3 years ago at Animazement. They did some Final Fantasy X and some Dragon Age and stuff, and I haven't seen them ever again, and I'm really sad. Same, there was somebody that did Silent Hill stuff that I bought some pictures from that I think are in my binders in the other room. And I haven't seen them again, and I can't find them online, which is really, it's a very hard field to succeed in and stay successful in, so you often see people fade in and out, or they end up going into a different circuit. Maybe they moved, and so now they do conventions in a different state. It's sad, but it happens. You've got a question. When did you get into Silent Hill, and what got you into doing essay videos? So, I was probably 13 or 14 when I first got into Silent Hill. It was the year the Silent Hill movie came out, because that was how I got into the series. I saw the movie first. And then there was a used game and bookstore down the street from my house that I spent like half my childhood in. Like every weekend I could, I was down in that bookstore. Half of my everything was from that store. Games, books, DVDs, you name it. And they had Silent Hill there, and I was like, this is awesome, it's the game, the movie, the same, I want this. And I managed to convince my mother, thank God, my ADD does not read anything mother, to buy Silent Hill 3 for me when I was probably 12, I think. And she would not have bought it for me if she'd known what it was. But I really like horror stories. I don't know how to explain. I like mysteries. I like digging into things. I was also really big into Hellsing at the time, which my mom bought me the DVD for my birthday, and she walked in on me watching it, and it was like one of the goriest scenes in the show. I had to talk her down from returning it, like, please God, don't. I just really liked that kind of story. I was dealing a lot with anxiety and depression at the time, and I think it really helped to center me, to see people that were dealing with similar things and see how they coped with it, and it helped me cope with it. And eventually when I got older and got closer to college age and I started studying English, specifically, reading books with the focus on what does this mean? Why is it written this way? It really made me want to do that with video games too. Basically, my college major is kind of what turned me on to studying games. And since, I started with writing essays about games, I had a Tumblr, I had a blog, but it just didn't really reach as many people. Well, okay, that's a lie. I did have a pretty steady following for a while, but I really felt like being such a visual medium, videos were better. And I was also an AMV maker. If you know what that means, I was an anime music video editor for many years. Also entered competitions at conventions and things. So I knew how to edit videos, and I knew how to create critique of games. So you put those together and you make videos about games. My first ones were not great, but I was working with a really shitty computer and a free program. I didn't have a microphone. It was a pretty rough beginning, but I really enjoyed it. And even though the blog was more successful at the time, as we can see now, the slow and steady approach of the video channel eventually overtook it. Especially because Tumblr has fallen into disrepair, and I abandoned that blog years ago. Oh, man. Let's see here. Do I have a favorite anime or manga Netflix original? Speaking specifically of Netflix, I really love the Castlevania anime. God, it was so good and so heart-wrenching. That ending was so unfair. Like, it's good. It's really good, and I can't wait to see more of it. It's very well written, and it's very pretty. Like, it's actually, like, well drawn, which not all anime is. Which, not everybody has a great budget. And it just, the story, it takes the basic concept of Castlevania and makes it a lot more realistic, I guess. It's kind of a realistic take on it without being too, like, grim dark. You know, it can be easy to try and take something that, like, Castlevania, sure, is kind of a serious game, but in the end, it is a goofy game about vampires and getting hamburgers out of walls and eating them for health, you know? Going too serious with it would have been a mistake. So I think they did a good job of balancing and adapting a concept into something new that was really cool. I really liked it. Let's see what other favorite anime I have. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. A lot of, I don't know if that's 90s or 2000s, around that age. I really like a lot of those genre era of anime, the stuff I grew up with. Yu Yu Hakusho, just rewatching it, has a lot of charm to it and a lot of character development that I don't think all anime has nowadays. Like, the characters were really allowed to be friends, and the crux, like the emotional moments of the show weren't because, you know, people were punching each other real hard. It was because of the friendships, which I think some shows, like, I grew up on Dragon Ball Z too, but I drifted away from Dragon Ball Z as far as, like, fighting anime goes, because it didn't have that as much as, like, Yu Yu Hakusho. It wouldn't have worked without the friendship. Like, that was the cornerstone of the show, and it was really great. And I mean, the last arc was entirely about the three friends having to be turned against each other and make a choice, and it was really great. Inuyasha is another big one. Inuyasha is amazing because it's an anime that it kind of makes its own place in the genres, because it's written by a woman, it's a romantic comedy, but really it was marketed and presented in a lot of ways like more of a shonen anime, like a Naruto or something like that. And it crossed aisles in a way where everybody I knew was watching it. Men, women, boys, girls, everybody. And because I think it was allowed to be more than just one genre, you got a lot more character development. And people tease Inuyasha about the fact that it took forever and the plot went forever. But the strength of it was that you could go and just have long arcs where it was really just about the characters living their lives and not about this huge, we gotta beat Naraku. Like, the strength was the episodes where it was just about Kagome and Inuyasha growing up. And they do grow up so much in that show. It's just brilliant. Those are two of my favorite, by far, of the more famous anime. Hey, Akatsuki, welcome to the stream. We're talking about nerd stuff. Anime and manga, specifically. I also really like something called Ten Dance, which is newer. It only just started getting published in the US. The first 2 books are out. It is a yaoi manga. It doesn't say that on there, but I know that's what people online would think of it. I don't see that word as much anymore on actual official publications. I still see it in fandom circles, but not as much in bookstores. But it's a romantic story between 2 professional dancers who are both trying to succeed at this thing called the Ten Dance. But to do the Ten Dance, you have to be a master of all the styles of dance. One of the dancers is the master of Latin dance. The other one is the ballroom dancer. So they're having to teach each other these styles. And so it's really interesting. There's a lot of interesting sort of daily life stuff and dancing culture that's in there that's really neat. And then also this very passionate scene of these 2 learning more about each other through dance and coming to appreciate each other through this very physical medium. It's really cool. I can't wait until there's more of it. Ancient Magus Bride is a good one. That one's kind of gotten pretty popular over here. That's a very mythic story about a woman going to Ireland, I believe, and becoming a mage's apprentice. That one's pretty cool. I'm sorry you were missing this, Lob Sylvie. I announce all my streams on Twitter, Facebook, and Discord. YouTube is supposed to send them out, but if you're not getting them, make sure that you click the bell. Go down into the description. There's a little bell that should be next to the title. Click on it to turn on notifications, because YouTube's implemented this new thing where it decides not to send you videos for random reasons, and unless you activate notifications, you may not get them. It's really stupid. And I don't know why YouTube is fixing things that aren't problems, but please do click the bell. Please click the bell, because otherwise you may not get notified. Otherwise, you can also follow me on Twitter or Facebook or join the Discord group. We're at 99 people, so we need one more. and we'll be 100 strong. That'll be awesome. Let's see. Oh, speaking of anime and video games, let me show you this. Oops. I see, where's the... That is Inuyasha, The Secret of the Cursed Mask, which is a PS2 game I'm going to stream at some point this week. Tonight is Fatal Frame at 6, and then tomorrow is might be the Silent Hill play novel, because I need to play that. I don't know. I may not be able to make it work. We'll see. So maybe Inuyasha will be tomorrow. But it's a really great game. It's one of the only good anime video games I've played, in part because it legit just takes RPG mechanics and just puts them in Inuyasha. And then it lets you create your own character and be a friend to these characters you really like. And there's a mechanic where you can choose at different times in the game, you choose scenarios where you can hang out with Kagome or Inuyasha, and hanging out with certain characters builds friendship points with them that affects the game. And while it's not incredibly detailed, there's enough there that, like, a fan of Inuyasha is going to be like, this is cool. I can go and be friends with Kagome and then, help them save the world or something. And there's even an extra bonus route where you can be friends with Shishomaru, but I think you have to beat the game first. And I've never gotten Shishomaru's route. But it's a really great way of making something that's actually fun to play, that appeals to the audience of people that likes the IP, while also not being, like, off-putting to a general audience. And I think it might be the only successful anime game I've ever played. I've played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh games. The Yu Yu Hakusho ones are bad. Most of them are just generic fighting games. I think nowadays they used to try and do more like RPG kind of games for anime. I think they've just given up and they just make fighting games now, which is really sad because this shows, like, anime has the potential to be anything, but an RPG really fits well with anime style, and I'm just bored of all these fighting. I don't want to punch my favorite anime characters. I want to befriend them. Ugh. What do I think about anime, manga, graphic novels, or animations that will be adapted into live action? It depends. Like, I think some of them have been done really well. I haven't watched it yet. I've just seen clips. But the Phoenix Wright movie looks amazing, which, that's a video game adaptation, but I love Phoenix Wright, and it works so well as a movie. And they really just kept the physicality and the comedy of it. Like, there's entire scenes where Phoenix will say something dumb and the whole jury will just fall out of their seats. It's really fun and looks super cute. One of the only ones I actually own is the Rurouni Kenshin live action, because that was a huge part of my childhood. And when I saw the trailers for it, it actually looked really good. I'm rereading the manga before I watch the movie and the show again, but it just actually looked like they did a good job, and they made 3 of them. And I only have the first one, but I think live action's fun. I'm really sad that more of the live action musicals don't come to the US, because I think that's awesome. I love musical theater. Like, that's my favorite thing in the world. But we never get any of the good stuff over in the United States. Like, the Lord of the Rings had a musical that only aired in the UK, and apparently it just bombed because they kind of stayed true to Tolkien and made it really long and wordy, and nobody liked it. And I've listened to the soundtrack. It was good, and I wish I could have seen it. And Japan has a lot of stuff like that. There's a Bleach musical. There's a Naruto musical. There's one for there's a Pokemon one, I think. I've watched the Naruto and Bleach ones. Those are really entertaining, even when they're, like, subtitled and I can't, or some of them are subtitled, some of them are not. I don't think I've found a subtitled Naruto one yet. But it's just so fun. Musical theater is really entertaining when it's done well, and anime has this sort of spirit to it. Most anime, I think, that's very, I don't know, lighthearted and outgoing. It's kind of from this cultural idea in Japan of what a hero is, where heroes are not necessarily the people that win, they're the people that keep trying. And there's something really emotional and touching about that kind of character and that kind of story that works really well with musicals, because musicals, you can really belt your heart out in song. And I wish we got more of the musicals actually put on DVD and brought over here. I tried to get the Naruto one years ago, and it was going to cost me something like $200 to have it brought over here. So I didn't. Oh, speaking of Naruto, I'm actually wearing my Naruto t-shirt. Oh, hey, Dagger. Welcome to the stream. I don't watch a lot of anime anymore. I've been trying to get back into it. I read more than I watch just because I don't, have the time. Somebody actually commissioned me on Patreon to do a video on Berserk, which I have mixed feelings about. They paid me, so I'll do it, but I'm really a video game channel, and making videos about anime is always going to be iffy because YouTube's far more likely to flag anime videos. So I may just have to take stills of the manga and do it that way. But it's a show I really wanted to watch. That's the kind of thing I like. Hellsing was one of my favorites growing up. What else do I have over there? Kami-sama Kiss is a fun one. It's kind of got the spirit of Inuyasha, if Inuyasha was far more romantic comedy than it was action. A young girl that's homeless and has nowhere to go is sort of gifted this shrine to live in and finds out that there's magical spirits still living there, including a fox spirit. And she and the fox spirit have this romantic thing going on, and she has to learn to be a shrine goddess, basically, to take care of the land and help the people, and it's really cute. I had a lot of fun watching that, and I think the manga might still be ongoing. I'm not sure. Oh, man. Yeah, I watch a lot of smaller, usually things that are older. I really like 80s and 90s anime style, like the sort of really, I don't know, Sailor Moon's not quite the right word, but like the long legs and the narrow eyes and the triangle faces. I really like that style of art. It's fun. Oh man, you're right. You're right, Cypher. I would have trouble coming home. I actually have a friend that lives in Japan. She is an English teacher there, and a bad influence. She sends me things sometimes. She actually sent me today. Yay! I'm so excited. It's the Hikaru Utada's soundtrack. Face My Fears. It's got the songs from the new Kingdom Hearts 3 in it, and I'm super excited about that. But yeah, I asked her to keep an eye out for it because I knew it was going to be a lot more expensive to get over here, and then she sent it to me just out of the blue. She's a good friend. I only see her like once a year because it's expensive to fly between here and there, but she's fun. She's really into like the music, the bands, that kind of thing. She's this cutesy little English teacher, and then you see her Facebook and it's full of like her posing with guys in like black metal, death metal outfits, and it just is great to see this cutesy little girl with all these like big metal bands. Oh man. Yes, I am very lucky. I have gotten very lucky in my life, in friends and in family and in general. My life has turned out pretty lucky. Oh man, let's see what else we got here. Oh, I have Edward Elric's watch from Fullmetal Alchemist, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the best anime I've ever seen. Like, I grew up watching the original, and it was kind of fun, but I never really got that into it. And lo and behold, that's because Brotherhood had all the best characters in it, and they didn't ever make it to the original. Like, frickin', what's his name? Ling was amazing, and the lady that's in charge of the Northern Wall, the Armstrong, that's her name. Just so many great characters that they never got to in the original show because the original went too short. They didn't have enough. I guess the manga hadn't gotten to these characters, I don't think. But man, Brotherhood is so good. Ugh, I wish they'd do that with more anime, like 10 years later, go back and remake the anime based on the fully finished manga. That would be fantastic. Do that for Inuyasha. No, they shouldn't. That would take forever. Inuyasha's so long. Ah, yes, I do have a lot of Pokemon plushies. Most of which are Oshawotts, because Oshawot's my favorite. Who I also bought at Animazement a couple years ago. I think the lady thought I was going to steal him because I saw him and I just grabbed him and held him because I didn't want anyone else to walk off with him. There's this guy. He's enormous! He's the biggest Oshawott I've ever seen, and I love him because Oshawott's my favorite Pokemon. And my other favorite Pokemon is this original 1990s Pikachu, the fat Pikachu. When I was a kid, I had one just like this, and I carried it with me everywhere until I eventually lost it on a family trip to Atlanta. And I was so upset. I asked Santa that year to bring Pikachu back, and Santa couldn't bring it back. So when I was an adult with money, I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy Pikachu back. And here we are. I have my Pikachu. Well, we're almost to an hour. I think we're at 40 minutes. So if we don't have a lot of questions, I may call this one short, since in about an hour, I'm going to keep going with Fatal Frame, which is going to be fun. I'm really enjoying that game, as stressful as it is. Mimikyu is a really great one. I have a Mimikyu somewhere. Where are you, Mimikyu? Oh no! Mimikyu has been lost! Oh, I think it fell back here. This is a sign that I have too many Pokemon. I'll have to find Mimikyu. Oh, man. I do have my Alolan Raichu, because I love the Alolan Raichu so much. It's so cute! It's a surfer! How could you not love that? Animazement! Yeah! If you're just chiming in, I started this episode talking about my experience at Animazement, the convention, over the weekend, which was so much fun. It's like my 12th year going or something. I'll have to go and check my badges. I keep them every year. I have a binder somewhere of all my stuff that I need to pull out and organize again. But, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry you couldn't go this year. It happens. I missed a year a couple of years ago for a family trip. Race, I do have bruises on my leg because I have a 6-month-old puppy who is the size of a pony and thinks that she should be a lap dog. And that's why I have bruises. They're not that bad. And she's getting gentler-ish, slowly. Oh, man. Yeah, my friend Mars actually didn't get to go this weekend, speaking of bruises, because they woke up in the middle of the night on the floor, covered in blood. Like, it's not as bad as it sounds, but check out their Twitter. They got a huge, like, I don't know, gash that had to get stitches and was in bed rest the whole weekend. It was pretty unfortunate, but she's feeling all right, and we bought her a Bowser plush. It was pretty great. But yeah. Oh man, yeah, that does suck. Like I said, usually when conventions shift and change, it's because people move, people, get different jobs. It happens. I've been to a bunch in Virginia and Atlanta because I have family there. Anywhere else is kind of hard. I did go to AwesomeCon in DC once, which was huge, and driving in DC was ridiculous. But it was a pretty neat convention. That's the biggest one I've ever been to. And my sister and my mom got a picture with Adam West, which was cool. I was too busy working. But it was fun. I did get to see Crispin Freeman, the voice of Alucard, at Animazement one year. He was a cool guy. Man, I wish I could have gotten something signed by him, but alas. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits, and hopefully I will see y'all at 6 p.m. for the next stream of Fatal Frame. If you have not clicked the bell for notifications, please do so that you can be notified of all my stuff I do, because YouTube is dumb. Or you can always follow me on social media, like Twitter is where I'm most active. There's also a Facebook group. There's a Discord. The links are all in the description. Thanks again to the person that donated earlier in the stream. That was super sweet of you. And I hope I will see y'all soon. Bye.